What's up, everybody? Mark, Jeff, and John here tonight. How are you guys doing?
I've got a man cold.
You got a man cold. Oh yeah. You did you take a little nap today before the live?
I did. Well, yeah. I earlier this afternoon, Mark and I had a Zoom call with somebody at 3:00. I haven't had a nap since then, so I'm due.
Okay.
I'm a big giant baby when I'm sick. I am man enough to admit it. Like the man cold is about me.
Okay. Well, I think you deserve it. You worked hard this first 8 months of the year, and so you deserve a little time off and try to relax this week, especially since we got, the big Debbie in town.
Big Debbie.
Debbie Downer.
Wow.
Although I did get a call today, as you know, I did have to go into work for just a minute. We got a call that there was flooding going on at our office.
Yeah.
And so I went in, and it was very
minimal, right?
Yeah, very minimal. And actually wasn't even flooding; it was the roof leaking.
Oh, so it was going down the wall and underneath, right?
Yeah, we lost a couple ceiling tiles, but we shall rebuild.
We shall. Pray for Charleston Area Living.
Yes, yeah. It's in the bathroom, so there's already been horrific things that have gone in that room to begin with. So a little roof caving in is not a big deal.
Right. John, how are you? Everything good at your house?
Everything's good. Just, been kind of crazy to get out on the streets, but, neighborhood's great, quiet. And was able to catch up on a lot of little things at home because I wasn't really going anywhere today. So.
Yeah. Did y'all have like a COVID feel today? Today had a COVID feel day. Because, we were home a lot yesterday. Yeah. And then a lot today, and even probably going to be home a lot tomorrow. So Andrea brought it up to me. She was right. It had we went out this evening for a ride around the neighborhood just to see what some of the flooding in the neighborhood was looking like, and we were so excited just to get out of the house and drive 5 minutes around the neighborhood.
Yeah, so I was able to go out to Cane Bay, in the back of Cane Bay. I live in Cane Bay, and so I'm going to share my screen here a little bit. And as we talk, just give you that was the wrong one. There we go. Give you an idea of what it was like today. So this is back in the Meridian, in the very back section. And this was around 11 o'clock. So we were getting a lot of those bands coming in.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't that bad. I'm going to show some pictures a little bit later of back in 2015, we had 20 inches of rain drop on, and water was up to the homes. The good story in both 2015 and today, though, is that Cane Bay can handle a ton of rain and still be okay. So this was the worst I saw right here, where the retention ponds to the left and right were almost full. So it was filling up those sewer drains and puddling into the water. And there's one more here after I go around the loop of the pool that, all is good in Summerville anyways. Downtown Charleston, they had a bunch of rain for sure. And the water came way up, and then now it has receded a little bit because we're on a little bit of a break from these bands. And then we're supposed to get more tonight and tomorrow. So I think in Summerville, I saw it was 9.95 inches have dropped so far. And we are expected to get
in just about 28 hours, I would say.
Yeah. And we're expected to get anywhere from 4 to 8 more inches between now and Thursday, 3 p.m.-ish.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, this kind of tells a decent story. I mean, I drove around Carnes, and it looks like in Cane Bay here, nothing even close to going up towards a house.
Yeah, no, not at all. Let me get rid of this one, and I've got some photos from 2015. Oh, this is for the tornado. I'm going to show that too. But these were pictures in 2015. Somewhere there's a street in here. I believe. And then here is how far it went up to the houses back in 2015. Now, obviously, this was 20 inches of rain, and I think a little bit shorter of a time frame.
Yeah.
Thanks to Tom Fernandez for posting these. But that still didn't go inside the homes. Like every house was on its own little island almost.
Right.
Yeah. So on these slab homes, they're not flush with the ground. So there is a little bit of a raise in the slab to get inside the door. So, but even back then, it really wasn't going in the houses. It just kind of went up and visited the houses.
Right.
And not every neighborhood either. The neighborhood I was in, it didn't even get over the curb. So it just kind of depended on the drainage in that neighborhood.
And it really depends on where you were in Summerville now to this storm, because over on the Dorchester County side in Cresswin and the Ponds, I'm hearing they got 16 to 18 inches over there.
Ooh.
So 10 inches here, Dorchester County, 16 to 18.
Right.
There's areas over on Dorchester Road that are going to flood. Like they're flooding now. There are probably 30 roads closed around Summerville. But it's really just for what in our world, it's about how much of it is affecting the homes themselves. This is the low country. We're going to see streets shut down when you get 10, 15, 16 inches of rain in a day. Mark, I got a call from Horizons today.
Yeah.
And I was over there. So we have a client that is still living up north. They haven't moved in yet.
Wait, will that answer this question from Heidi?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay, good.
So Heidi, I got a call. I went over after we closed on the house for a client of ours, and they asked me to check on it occasionally. And so I've been over there a couple times just making sure that the house was good. And I gave my business card to the next door neighbor because I saw him outside one day. And I said, hey, just if you ever feel like if anything looks weird or anything, ever a problem with the house or whatever, you see water coming out the front door, just do me a favor and call me. So he called me today. What a great guy. And he just said, hey, I want to let you know. And they're backed up to the wetlands in that. Remember, Mark, that house, it has a retention wall built up behind with wetlands below it. And he said the water was definitely rising in the wetlands in the creek area, but it still had 5 feet to go before it would come over the yard, into the yard, and then even another couple feet before we get to the house. So end result is totally fine. Horizons seems to be doing very well with all this weather, which honestly we expected. These neighborhoods with the water retention and the ponds and the way that they've been building them, it seems to me that they're performing exactly like they're supposed to.
So Heidi said, greetings from Connecticut, which
hello, Heidi and Wes.
Chris Orr and Robin is on, I'm sure. And Chris made another comment. He said, just took a drive in Cresswin, didn't see any flooding, A-OK in the ponds from what I saw.
Nice.
So that's great to say that. So thanks, Chris, for doing that. And then Penny Campbell is on. Hey, Penny.
Hey, Penny.
Penny said her tenants at Horizon said everything was good.
Nice.
So that's amazing. The Silvas are on, and they said thanks so much. We would need a canoe in Rhode Island. We've got a lot of rain. It's coming your way, though. I don't think we're going to get as much rain as we did because it's not just going to sit and stall. But it is coming up that way for sure.
Lisa, we will see people kayaking and canoeing downtown Charleston.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I've got a friend that works in emergency services, and they live down where's he live? James or Johns Island, Mark?
He lives on Johns Island.
Johns Island. And he called me today to see if my spare bedroom was available because he may not be able to get back to his house.
Oh, my gosh.
So if he gets a few hours off to go get some sleep, he's going to come out here to the house in Carnes and take a little siesta.
Nice. So speaking of Carnes, I got your pictures up here. So this is the lake at the front of the neighborhood, right?
Yeah. So you could see it's up a couple feet. If you look over at the far side there, that's the fishing dock, and that is underwater. Yep. There it is. So that's the benches that are on top of the fishing dock. So my guess is it's up probably 2 feet, but nothing anywhere close to going up and threatening any homes, which is good. I did notice I was a little concerned about in neighborhoods like this where there's new construction, be it Horizons or here. They often put barriers down blocking the drains so that construction debris doesn't get down the drains. But they went through and took care of all those. So, Lennar's a big builder over here in Carnes now. They've got a ton of construction going on, and this neighborhood has fared extremely well.
Yeah. So looking at the radar, or what the news said earlier today, supposedly it's just going to sit and stall out here in the ocean for a little bit and then kind of jet back in. So this is 3 a.m. Wednesday. It looks like the wall of the eye kind of forms a little bit better. And then Wednesday evening, it's going to start coming in around Georgetown and then go up into the upstate and then go all the way up into New England and whatnot. So that's why they're saying we're going to get another 5 to 8 inches of rain or so. Our office right now is this picture here in the middle, and this is looking right out our office window to our main office across the street. So this is where all of the Nexton agents kind of meet people, and then our office is right across the street from that.
Well, hold up. You have a camera in our office that I didn't know about?
Yes. Yeah. I told you I was watching you today.
I'm a little concerned about that.
Is this the
that wasn't disclosed.
Yeah. I can hear everything you say and everything you do.
Oh, man. I'm about to change the way I live.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can't have those dance parties anymore.
No. I
no
left
more
that
slow
out of
dancing with John.
Yeah. Sorry, buddy.
I left that out of it. So you can see nothing going on there. This is down in West Ashley, right at the bridge on 526, and you can see it's almost clear there.
Yeah.
And then so downtown, where is it? So this is Beaufort, right here. This is Beaufort going over the bridge. So it looks a little gray down there. But again, it doesn't look like a whole lot of rain going on this minute.
It was pretty nice outside at my house here like 20 minutes ago when I looked outside. I know there's more coming tomorrow. Right. We're kind of a little bit in the eye of the storm right now. It's going to circle back. But
yeah, so all this bottom layer here is not a whole lot of moisture. All the moisture is up in here. And actually, if I refresh this, you're probably going to see it more on this side now. So it's kind of breaking apart, as you can see. So when it kind of goes back out over the ocean, we're going to see that climb a little bit more, I think, or combine together a little bit more for sure.
Look at you being a forecaster, weatherman,
right?
Prognosticator extraordinaire. That was like a triple syllable word there.
Yeah. I'm going to show one more thing. You guys talk for a minute. I'm going to try to find it here real quick.
So, John, your neighborhood, you've got lots of retention ponds and things in yours also?
Right.
Are they full?
So the one right in front of me is called a detention pond. It's a dry pond. There's not ever any water in it, and it's deep. But this morning it was cresting over the top.
Really?
But it was doing its job because it feeds into a creek that cuts through our neighborhood. And, not much going on, really. So
I saw a thing on Facebook that said it's a little meme like if you're evacuating for this storm, you need to take the Salt Life sticker off of your car. That cracked me up. Because I used to leave for this kind of stuff when I first got here. The first couple named storms, we left town, and it turns out I just didn't need to. I mean, I'm sure there could be one someday where I have to.
Sure.
But I thought it was interesting. With as much potential flooding as there was going to be down in Charleston, there was no mandatory evacuations down there.
Yeah. Well, there was the curfew going on.
Right.
Yeah,
So
they did do a curfew.
People weren't going down there, and the emergency personnel could do what they. Penny said they pulled out the gutter buddies, so that's good. That'll help.
What a cute name that is for those things.
Yeah,
gutter buddies.
Gutter buddies.
But look at this. This is Folly Beach, and people are swimming right now.
Lunatics.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Right?
I wouldn't do that if I were you. Don't. Just don't. Riptide is probably really bad.
So that just
stay
shows,
safe.
That right now it's not as bad. So this bottom camera is Myrtle Beach. They look like they're getting a bunch of rain right now.
Yeah.
We did a little family trip up to Myrtle Beach this past weekend, John.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we Mark and I had nothing on our calendars this weekend for the first time in like 2 years. That we were both about Tuesday. We're looking at the calendars like, hey, we got nothing going on. Let's go do something. So we jumped up to Myrtle Beach for the weekend. We had a great time. I got sick up there. I think it was Clem that made me sick, but we still had fun. We went to that Paula Dean's restaurant.
Oh yeah, that was good. So
that's pretty good.
This just made my head a little bit bigger. I'm impressed. I feel like I'm watching the.
Hey, listen. Have you been watching the news? These kids on these news channels, they look like they're 19 years old.
Yeah.
Best.
Yeah. For sure. Look at this one. Mima is making soup if you guys need it.
Love me some Mima. Thank you, Mima.
That was 4 seasons at the Lakes of Cane Bay making out. Stay safe. Thanks for keeping us informed. So when I did that drive-by earlier, I actually looked over there. I didn't go into 4 seasons, but the lake looked like it had risen, but it wasn't anywhere near cresting up the slopes into either the Cove's yards or into any 4 Seasons yards. Just when I looked real quick, so
yeah.
And that lake, Rebecca, has the ability to be let out. They have the ability to remove water from that lake. We've heard Rick talk out there a bunch of times about some super heavy rains, and he's only seen that lake move a couple inches. Right. And actually, that lake has been down all year compared to in the past. So my guess is, and I'm going to try to, if I feel good enough tomorrow, I'm going to take a run around Cane Bay a little bit, look at some of the lakes, get some video, and take a peek at it. But my guess is everything over there is fine. And I think we probably would have heard about it if there was a real issue over there. We've got enough people in 4 Seasons; they would have given us a holler.
Oh yeah.
And Rick actually texted me, or we emailed earlier, and he said, "I think this is the first time the lake's been at a normal level in 7 years."
Yeah, it's been getting lower and lower, and so this is probably needed.
Right, but there's no problems out there right now.
So did you guys hear about the tornado?
Yeah. So
no.
I was at that Arby's on Sunday, Mark. When we came home, we had a big giant family fight from Myrtle Beach on the way home on where we were going to have lunch when we got here. I always vote for Zaxby's, and I got outvoted. Andrea, of course, since it was a Sunday, she wanted to go to Chick-fil-A, so we couldn't go to Chick-fil-A, obviously. So we ended up there at Arby's in Monk's Corner, and so that's where we had lunch on Sunday. And then they got lit up last night.
Yeah, so there was tornado warnings all over the place, and I want to make sure people know too. Like, this is not Charleston normal weather. Like, 2015 is when we had those floods that I was showing you those pictures of.
Yeah.
And then this, it's just unprecedented weather, I feel like. But we had tornadoes in Edisto. We had tornado warnings in Legend Oaks over by Summers Corner and Horizons, but there were no confirmed ones there. There was a confirmed tornado in Monk's Corner, which is this video that Billy Conley posted. I'm assuming he works at this True Auto place and had cameras on the side of the building. And then there was one more tornado somewhere else. I think it was Kiowa. So this is not normal, but I thought this was good to show today. you'll see these two trucks kind of get flipped. Back here is the Arby's that you were talking about.
Yeah.
And they also had some damage to the front of their restaurant through the windows and all of that. But watch how quick these trucks get plopped up here. Right about there.
Oh my.
So that was all over the news and also the national news and all of that. But again, the last time there were tornadoes, they also went through part of Summerville and then Monk's Corner, and that one actually took some houses out. Luckily, this one, I don't think anybody got hurt. I haven't heard anybody get hurt. I heard the Walmart got damaged, some businesses along Tailrice Canal, and then the Arby's, and then these trucks here.
Yeah, the Arby's had its insides on the outside. It sucked stuff out the broken windows. And they had big, I saw in the news, 2 of the big HVAC units up on the roof were down in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm. All right, let me go out of that. We got a question from Dan C. You show a lot of homes with retention ponds in the back of homes. I always feel like they will overflow and end up in the living room. A lot of these retention ponds are connected to each other. Mm-hmm. So they balance each other out, which kind of helps. Our seller over in Nexton, Jeff, did send me a video earlier where their retention pond was about 9 feet up from where it normally is.
Okay.
Just because I guess a lot of that water drains into theirs that they have. But it has not reached their back porch. Right. They had about 20 or 30 feet of grass left as well. So I haven't seen that yet. But if anything shows it 20 inches back in 2015 and another 12 inches today or so, 10 inches today, right. I think that shows that they kind of did a good job with the drainage.
Yeah, I've got, it's not a retention pond, but it serves the same purpose. I've got a lake behind my house here in Carnes, and I think it's like 1 gallon over whatever it has to be classified to be a lake versus a pond, because it's not that big. But I've been watching it all day, and it really has not moved hardly at all. I did see one thing that was cool this morning. I'll see if I can show it to you on my phone. There was at the front of the neighborhood, so there's the lake at the front of Carnes, which Mark showed the picture of, and then it drains into another pond because, like Mark said, these were all connected. And somehow the water was coming from the big lake to the pond with such force that it was making like a fountain in the water there. And so it was shooting water up out of the pond. But Dan, I'd say that they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. And we just haven't seen that be an issue.
Yeah. Right. And if you see these, they're built, the banks of them are built up when it's dry out. It's quite a few feet from the water level to where it even begins to level out into your backyard. So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Mark, you see how fast I was on the mute when I went to cough there?
That was great. I didn't even notice that.
Right? Yeah, I
found
the mute button on my computer.
AJ say, glad all good, gents. Great news. Any update on Phase 8 for 4 seasons?
No. Expected any day.
Yeah. Where's Rick when you need him?
And I know we've said that many times, but it's coming.
Yeah.
I wish we knew.
They still have I think it was 9 spec homes that are available. I'll try to pull that up in a second for 4 seasons, and one of them was down to $469.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So these 55 pluses that we do a ton of work in, be it Horizons or 4 Seasons or Del Webb, Horizons is doing all specs, but 4 Seasons and Del Webb have started. We've seen an uptick in the number of specs that they're doing, and it's just about cash flow. When these homes get closer to being done, if they're not under contract, they start having some pretty phenomenal sales on these things. We've seen $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 off homes in Horizons and in 4 Seasons in the past.
Yeah, so this one was originally 560 and it's now 469.
Wow.
So 90,000 difference. It's 1,900 square feet, 1 story, 2 bed, 2 bath, 2-car garage. And that is a Donegal 156 Leeward Lane home site. This one's done. So that's why they've discounted it so much.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely not the norm. I think they had one other one that was under 500. That was a Dorchester. And I think they sold that one already. So that's the only one under 500, I believe. There's a 520 with a loft. 520. Was that a loft? No, that
was a loft or a storage space, an unfinished storage space? Because they've been doing a lot of those.
So 569. Okay, it was the Granada that was under 500 as well. So that one's 70,000, almost 70,000.
Look at you dropping math all of it. Like you didn't have to pull an abacus or nothing. You just dropping numbers there.
So yeah, they still have 9 quick move-ins,
right.
Which is finishing phase 7, and one or two of these might be the start of phase 8, but they haven't released any lots yet. Oh, let's see here. What else we got? We got Lisa said, "Where do you go with a tornado? I feel like I need a tornado room." Let's see. In your house, Lisa, the pantry would be good, probably.
Yeah.
Probably your bathroom in your master bedroom. Just don't go in the water closet because that has a window in it. You can go right in the shower. That would probably be good.
We have we've jumped into our kind of panic room here one time in 14 years. That was when there was some up in Monk's Corner and I just wasn't paying attention to the map. And so I realized it was way far away from me, but I still loaded up the kids and took them into the pantry of our old house. Mm-hmm. Just an interior room that doesn't have any windows. So typically whatever. And these tornadoes that pop up around here, these are not Kansas tornadoes.
No.
They're much smaller. Sometimes they don't even make it to the ground. They're over very quickly. We don't normally see this, 10-mile run of tornadoes in like you would see in the middle of the country.
Yeah.
I was
AJ said we're not opposed to a spec house. We'll check them out in a couple weeks.
Okay. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. What other questions you guys got? We do these lives because we want to hear from you for sure. We want to try to answer all of those questions right here online. And then, of course, we love to do Zoom calls. So if you want to kind of dig a little bit deeper and, learn a little bit more about the community, fit to your specific lifestyle that you want to live, or the budget that you want to use here, we can usually match you up to a good community once we know both of those things, your budget and your lifestyle that you want to live. And our whole team does a great job of that. John is one of our experts in the area for sure, and he takes people out all the time, whether it's 55 plus or not. Mm-hmm. John, what is one of your favorite neighborhoods that you like to take people?
Well, lately I'm really liking the Four Seasons because there are a lot of spec homes with amazing deals on them. And every time I go over there, I keep saying, I wonder if it's legal to kick out my teenagers and move in because other than the kids, I'm eligible. So
I'm telling you, I'm going to be in one of these 55 plus as soon as I can kick these little hoodlums out of my house.
I'm like, my daughter just has to get married. She's 16. That's not legal in this state, but they could go up to West Virginia or something. And then my son, he could, plagiarize his age on the Air Force application and send him out. And then
$20 in a sleeping bag. He'll be fine.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Hey, Mark, why don't we talk a little bit about kind of the changes that kicked in this week with the NAR settlement and the Department of Justice? Because these Zoom calls that we have been having with people off of YouTube that call in and get with us to, schedule a time to come into town. That conversation has changed a little bit. The government has stepped in and said, hey, John, hey, Mark, hey, Jeff, you are no longer allowed to show one house without a buyer's agency agreement in place. So back in the day, people would come in and we'd have a conversation about the South Carolina disclosures, and then we'd run out and start walking through doors. We're not allowed to do that anymore. We have to have a buyer's agency agreement in place before we can go show you a house. And the other thing that is different now is that we don't know what amount of money, if any, the seller is paying towards a buyer's agent. Now, from what we think is happening, and for instance, what is happening on our listings is nothing is changing. Most people realize that they're going to have to pay a buyer's agency commission, either announced at the beginning or through concessions, or you figure it out when you write the offer. But we haven't seen a huge change in that. We're still seeing that money is being paid for buyer's agency commissions. And the good news, since we do so much work with the builders, is that all of the builders right now are continuing to pay our commissions. So some of them, not all of them, but the vast majority are paying what we charge, and a couple of them just a little bit under. And so we just figured that out at close. But that's the big change is when you come into town now, if you schedule a buyer's agent or a meeting with us on Zoom, we're going to have that conversation, and we're going to have to do some paperwork, and we'll go through a long video explaining all of that. I think what's important to note is that people, when they sign a buyer's agency agreement with us, because we have a ton of people that come into town here, and they also go to Hilton Head, and they go look down in Florida. It does not commit you to buying a house here in Summerville, in Charleston, in this market. All it does is it says, hey, if we're going to buy a house, we're going to work with you, Charleston Area Living.
Nice. So Misdemeanor put up two questions. I'm going to pop her second question up first because it relates to kind of what you were just saying. But she was saying, is the buyer's agreement exclusive, or can I use a additional real estate? I don't know.
Wow, you're making up words here, Misdemeanor.
She just posted a correction.
Okay.
It says simultaneously.
Simultaneously. Okay. So
go ahead, Mark.
No, I was just going to say, so the agreement is exclusive for this area. So Charleston, Berkeley, Dorchester County, in this area, if you decide to purchase a house, just like Jeff said, it's saying that you're going to use us in this area. Mm-hmm. Now, maybe up in Myrtle Beach, you might have a different agent. In Beaufort, you might have a different agent. Right. But for this area, the agreement would be exclusive to us. Yes.
Good question.
Yes. And then Pete said, if you have been working with prior to the, all right. So I'm going to guess that what this question is prior to the change, if you've been working with someone else, does that still stay in agreement? I'm guessing that's what he's saying.
Yeah, so if you have already signed a buyer's agency agreement with a realtor, then that just continues through this process. Mm-hmm. If you have not signed a buyer's agency agreement with a realtor, and then you will need to sign one either with that realtor or another realtor to continue the search and start walking through doors. If you have a realtor that says, no, don't worry about it, you do not need to sign a buyer's agency agreement, do not work with that realtor, because they either don't know or they're willing to break the law.
Yeah. And he said, yes, I was cut off. So we guessed right on that. It looks like.
Right. And there's a lot of agents out there who kind of see this stuff and say, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a very big deal. So if an agent is telling you it's not, just don't run away from them and go to someone.
Misdemeanor, I love this question.
Yeah, this is all you, Jeff.
I could go off on this for 20 minutes. Sometimes it is better to use the builder's lender. And we have lenders that we work with. We have a specific couple that we deal all of our business, or most of our business with. But there are great incentives from some builders that can give you $5,000, $10,000. We've seen $15,000, 3% towards building closing costs when you use their in-house lender. And most of the time, those are fine.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what it doesn't say is that a dollar isn't always a dollar. So if you get $5,000 from XYZ Builder to use their mortgage company, and their fee for this is $2,200, and the fee from this other company is $1,100, then there's an $1,100 swing there. Yeah. So we have enough history with these guys. I'll tell you where some of our clients have gotten burned. If you're not a normal slam dunk of a mortgage. So if you're putting 20% down and you've got a good credit score and you've got 60 grand in the bank and you're not stressing about money and you've got a solid career and you're not a 1099 employee, if you fall into those easy slam dunks for mortgage companies, then we often say, yeah, you're probably going to be better off with a mortgage company. If with the builder, if you're me, or you're Mark or you're John, it's more of a conversation because we're self-employed. And so, we are not guaranteed a paycheck. If you have changed jobs recently, if you're not putting that 20% down, if you're a little lower credit score, if you've got some debt to pay off, some of these mortgage companies from the builders have struggled. And I can name times where we've gotten 3 days out from close and the mortgage company has said, nope, we can't do it. Right. And then we call our guy and he gets it done. And he actually, and one of them said, I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what the problem was. Right. This was easy.
Right.
So it depends on the mortgage company and your status, but we'll help you figure that out. As far as FHA goes, that's just a type of mortgage. So there's, conventional and FHA. That's a government-backed loan. There's VA. FHA is often a very great product for people to use. Less money that you need down. It goes down to, sometimes a little lower credit score. It's a great option, and we do a lot of FHA work.
All right. Great question there. All right. We got a kudos coming at us. Hands down. We are not local, but we had the best experience with Mark and Jeff. Highly recommend.
Thank you, Lisa.
We appreciate you.
We've had fun with the Silvas.
Yeah. Lisa and I were texting back in 2022.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was 2022, 2 years. That's how long we built the relationship together and just answered questions along the way. And she's going to love it down here when she gets down here full time. So
so when Mark says, 9 days, 9 weeks, 9 months, like he's not kidding. Like we really want you guys to engage with us as soon as it becomes a possibility that you could be moving here to Charleston, because if for no other reason, we want to get you set up with our website. So if we know that, hey, listen, I want to be in a 55 plus, or I want to be in Nexton, or I want to be in Carnes, we can send you, even if it's just once a week, all the new homes that are for sale in the neighborhood. So you can start to get a feel for what this market has, so that a year from now, 2 years from now, you've kind of watched the progression of the number of homes available, what they're going for, how quickly they sell. So we've had a ton of people that feel like they're bothering us when they're saying, hey, listen, I want to have a conversation, but I'm not doing this for 12 months. Please schedule a Zoom call. That helps us and it helps you.
Yeah. Misdemeanor said, great info. Thank you so much. And then
Thanks
she
for
asked,
asking,
how much rain have you gotten so far? So the totals I saw on the news right before I came up was I think it was 13 inches in Edisto was the most, and then downtown Charleston had just under that, I believe.
Right.
And then here in Summerville, we saw 12. But my mother-in-law says over on the Dorchester side of Summerville, they got 16, which may be accurate because I've heard some big flooding over that way. Trolley Road was shut down at one area. Because of the flooding, and they're closer to the Ashley River, so a lot of that water is going to flow over towards that way and all.
I went over and helped Seacoast Church helped mud out a bunch of houses when was the big storm? 2015.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
We were over there on the Ladson Road side and over in Kings Grant and some of these neighborhoods that really got crushed from the Ashley River. Right. There is absolutely nothing worse than a flooded home. I would rather it burned to the ground. Mm-hmm. It's just horrific what these homes were. I felt so bad for these people. Now the good news is that if we end up seeing the flood districts change when we've had, so for instance, the 2015 flood brought changes to the area. So some homes that weren't in a flood zone were made in a flood zone. So the reason I think that's important is it gives you a little bit more of a comfort level now after having in some of these neighborhoods that we deal so much in, Summers Corner, Carnes Crossroads, Cane Bay, all over Summerville. If we didn't see flooding in these neighborhoods back in 2015 and we haven't seen flooding in them now, we're probably pretty good. Your realtor, Jeff, Mark, and John, is always going to say it's never a bad idea to have extra insurance on your house and flood insurance. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you that I don't have it on mine. And so I wouldn't do that. I can afford it. I choose not to because I just don't see a scenario where I'm going to need it in my neighborhood.
Yeah. I don't have it in mine either. We did end up doing earthquake insurance just because we're on a fault line. Don't even know if I really need that either, but I don't know. Something said just get it just in case.
Yeah. It wasn't expensive. We do feel earthquakes here. Well, actually, I'm not going to say that. We do have earthquakes here occasionally. There's a big fault line that runs from Woodstock, New York, all the way down to Cuba. It's called the Woodstock Fault Line, and I'd say couple 3 times a year I'll hear in the news, there was a 1.8 in Ridgeville or something like that. When you say, John, it's not that often.
Yeah, it's not. And I grew up in Southern California. That's
so this is nothing.
So I mean, I would sleep through 5 and 6s out there.
John can cause a 1.8 in the bathroom after eating a Taco Bell.
Right. But here's the cool thing is that Charleston's earthquake code is the same as Southern California's. So the houses are built similarly because there is a fault line.
Yeah.
But we don't have those big ones except for that one in the 1800s that kind of destroyed the city, but that was a long time ago. So
yeah, that was even before my mother-in-law was born, 1800s.
Are you sure?
Wait. Well, yeah. I think she's been living with some evil form for many years, but
well, that's when my mother-in-law got off the boat.
Oh, she's that old?
No, she's that heavy.
We are going down the wrong path on this.
I really hope she's not watching this.
My poor wife lives in fear that her mother finds our YouTube channel someday. She's constantly terrified.
Dan C says we're looking at relocating in 3 years. Yeah, Dan, set up a Zoom call. We can talk if we haven't already talked, and kind of walk you through any questions you have. Like Jeff said, 9 days, 9 weeks, 9 months, 2 or 3 years. We love helping people, so we're willing to talk. Even if you're coming in town and you're not buying for 3 years, we'd love to take you out for a few hours and show you some of the neighborhoods that might match the lifestyle you want to live in, the budget you want to live for here in the Summerville area for sure.
And if Summerville or Charleston in general is just a contender for where you think you want to be, we find that most of our people are looking at, down at the villages. They're looking at Margaritaville. They're looking at Sun City, Del Webb. They're looking at some of the 55 pluses in Myrtle Beach. We've got team all over those cities. So you have the ability to come down and also if you just, let's say you're down to Myrtle Beach or Charleston, we get you with a good agent in Myrtle Beach that really we trust and knows their business that we've worked with before. And that way, you have a realtor that didn't do 2 deals last year.
Jeff, next week, I think towards the end of next week, we should have access to Myrtle Beach homes on our website so that people can look from Myrtle Beach all the way down almost to Edisto.
Yeah, I wasn't sure when you were going to announce that, but I guess it just happened, the big reveal. So our clients are going to have, and we've always had a team up in Myrtle Beach that we work with. But the people that are on our website, you'll be able to, on the same place, be able to look at houses here and in Myrtle Beach. And Mark, I guess we'll have the ability to then set them up in Myrtle Beach also. If somebody says, hey, I want to be there in 2 years, send me, listings once a week. We have the ability to do that also.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be great. And hopefully we just kind of keep expanding, but Myrtle Beach seemed to be the next area. I don't know if everybody knows, Myrtle Beach was named the #1 place in the country to move to. I think it was last week or the week before that people are moving to. So
I had a great time there this weekend. There's a lot of fun stuff to do in Myrtle. We went to Top Golf, and so Mark's daughter Abby is a golfer. She's on the Cane Bay team, and she's really good. Cane Bay's a big school that she wouldn't be on the team if she wasn't. But man, I was talking smack with that 15-year-old. I told her, and she's been injured this year, so that I figured that was my only shot.
Yeah.
But I beat her.
You did.
I would not beat her at regular golf.
Injured little girl.
I did. I beat up on an injured little girl.
What is wrong with you?
Listen, Mister, I fight with 15-year-olds at Taekwondo or karate or whatever. I don't want to hear your mouth running right now. I knew that her being injured was the only shot I had at me winning, because I am confident to say if she is not injured and we were playing real golf on an 18-hole course, I think she's at the point now where she would beat me.
Hold on, I got to play matchmaker again, Jeff.
Okay.
So we have one person on YouTube that was talking, and then somebody on Facebook is trying to talk to them.
Oh, okay.
Right? So Dwayne said, "Hi, Pete Bradbury." So Dwayne, now you can say hi to Pete because you're on a different platform than he is. So I just want to make sure Pete.
Don't worry, Dwayne. I get confused by this all the time. Different platforms. So what are we streaming on right now? YouTube and Facebook?
Right now we're streaming to the Charleston Area Living page, my old Facebook page on Facebook. Then we're streaming to YouTube, obviously.
Okay.
We're streaming to LinkedIn. So four different places right now, and you probably shared it to yours too. So
I threw it on my personal Facebook page, but my LinkedIn page, it probably still has me as a paramedic.
Yeah, I think it says Chick-fil-A. It says Chick-fil-A.
I did work at Chick-fil-A, yeah. That was my second job. McSorley's was my first job washing dishes. My second job was at Chick-fil-A. I was the guy that froze his hands off and breaded and battered the chicken. It was very cold.
All right, Ms. Demeanor has another great question. How are your flood insurance costs?
Yeah, so it depends on if you live in an X flood zone or a non-X flood zone. So X flood zone, first of all, this is the low country. The whole area is technically a flood zone. Right. The X flood zone is what we're looking for. So if you live in an X flood zone, on the average Summerville house, I would say the insurance would be, John, what do you think, $400 to $600 a year?
I don't think it's that much.
Not even that much?
It's a couple of $100 a year.
If you're in an AE flood zone, it could be a couple $1,000s a year. And those prices did go up about 3 years ago.
Yeah. And also, if you're closer to the coast, if you got a bigger house, like those people out on Isle of Palms and stuff with the beach houses, you're talking tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh, yeah. There's some of them that are so high, they form, well, this is next level insurance stuff, but they form their own captive up and down the coast to self-insure their own risk with people all the way down to Florida because they just couldn't get coverage in some of these houses.
Yeah. Jackie said we didn't do flood insurance, so the Quinlans bought from me about a year and 2 months ago, a year and 1 month ago, something like that. And they moved down from Massachusetts. They live here in Cane Bay in the Old Rice section, and they did not do flood insurance. So, they didn't really need it. And she says, Jeff, you talk smack.
Thank you, Jackie Q. I appreciate you.
Robin said we're twisted.
This is the lady who shows up with a unicorn costume and a squirrel.
Yeah, it's not the
fucking says we're
We'll bring that video up next week.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, here's a great question. How do I contact you guys for a Zoom? All right, so down in the description of this video, you can click the link that says book a Zoom call, but we also have it right here for you, charlestonaraliving.com/schedule-meeting. That'll bring you the same link, so if you want to write that down. And at the very end of tonight's broadcast, there will also be a QR code, and you can schedule a meeting through that as well. So a couple different ways for you. Thank you very much.
Hey, Mark, pull up her last comment there. I want to talk about that for a minute.
Her last, okay.
I can pull it up here.
Oh,
I keep putting it up and you keep taking it down. All right, so here's what's super important, misdemeanor. Do not call any of the builders before you get here. Yeah. It's extremely important. There are some builders out there that if you call them and you talk to them before we go in with you, they will not pay us. Yep. And that means that you have to end up paying. So anybody that you want will get you registered with them. They're all different. Some of them don't care at all. They love working with John and Mark and I and our team. But there are some that if you go walking through the door without us, even if you've registered under our name, they will not do a cooperative relationship with us, and that can cost you thousands of dollars. So talk to us first before you dig in with any builders. And then I'll tell you what we find a lot of times. Somebody comes down here and they schedule a Zoom call and they say, listen, I think I want to be in this neighborhood. It's more often than not that we don't actually end up in that neighborhood. So it's good for us to have a phone call to find out what's important to you. I know, where are you going to work? Do you have to get to the airport every week? Do you have to work downtown? Do you have kids? Do you have, there's 1,000 different questions we're going to ask to kind of dive into where you should be, but don't talk to those builders before you talk to us. Super important.
Good call. Dwayne says 4 platforms. How are we supposed to keep up with that?
Dwayne didn't know there was 4 platforms.
He didn't. So, all right, Dwayne. Pete now says, hey, have a house ready for me in December.
There you go, Dwayne.
Pete,
Dwayne,
I think we can make that happen.
Got to come through for him, Dwayne. All right, here's another good one. Lynn, this is Dan C's wife. We're moving in 3 years, but visiting in March. Would you show us around in March, or is that too early? We are interested in 55-plus development. John, do you want let's let John handle this.
Take it.
Never too early.
Yes.
Just come. Let's go look at it.
Yeah.
So I think Four Seasons in Del Webb in 3 years, they'll probably still be building. Four Seasons might be done, but there will be other communities that pop up. I mean, our area is growing at exponential rates year over year. There's going to be more and more and more stuff. So come check out, make sure this area is right for you. If you haven't already, and make sure that Summerville is right for you. And, we'll show you around, and, we'll keep you up to date with what's coming, what's new, and everything like that. And when it's time, we're going to be here for you.
And then I think what's important is then we can say, my guess is you're going to go home with a feeling of, I like XYZ neighborhood. And then that way we can keep you on top of what houses are always available in that neighborhood over the next couple years. But we definitely want to show you, if amenities are important to you, show you the areas. And listen, these builders, there's absolutely differences in these houses also. The houses that could be in Summers Corner, Cane Bay, Nexton, we've got 20, 30 different builders here that we're working with on a regular basis. So my guess is you'll be like most, and you'll say, okay, I want to be in this part of town, and I really like this neighborhood or this builder or this amenity center. And then we can kind of keep you updated over the coming years.
Right. And each one of these neighborhoods has a different vibe to it. None of them are bad. They're just for different people, different styles, different lifestyles, what you want. So someone might really love Crestwind and not like Four Seasons, and someone else is going to love Four Seasons and may not be so thrilled about Horizons. So it just depends on what you like. So.
Good point.
Good question.
Jackie said, Lynn, Mark, and Jeff are awesome to work with. You should come down and have them show you around anytime. Yes, so that answers her question there.
Jackie, hey, maybe she comes down and you buy her lunch. Just we make friends. We can make friends. We can get people introduced to each other on the YouTube channel here. Sorry, it's not just YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and God knows whatever thing Mark has us on. We could be the connector of people. We could be like matchmakers.
Mr. Meaner said good advice about the builders, Jeff. So thank you. Lisa said we didn't end up in the neighborhood we thought. So that's a good point, right, Jeff? Like,
yeah,
we're going to not just take you to the neighborhood that you think you want, just like you were saying earlier. We're going to take you to the neighborhoods that we think you might like, because you don't know what you don't know, right?
It can be as simple as somebody saying, listen, I absolutely want to be in Carnes, where I live here. Mm-hmm. But I love riding my bike, and I want to be able to get on my bike and go 15 miles without having to turn around. And so, well, then Carnes probably isn't the right neighborhood. Mm-hmm. But we've got tons in Nexton and in Cane Bay that would be great for that. So that's a lot of times what we kind of focus in on and what's important to you. And luckily, we've sold homes in all these neighborhoods, so we have a pretty good feel for where you're going to end up.
Yeah, and Lisa said they're thrilled at where they are, so that's awesome.
Loving it.
Jackie said yes. Definitely.
Jackie's up with making friends.
Yes.
Actually, we had it was kind of fun. We rented an axe throwing bar a week and a half ago. I think we talked about it last week. But we had a whole Horizons section at the axe throwing bar where we introduced a bunch of people that we had sold houses to in Horizons. And so they were over there and took over a couple lanes and just all met. So they don't even need the amenity center out there. It's coming, but we just take them out. And it was a lot of fun to be able to introduce people in the same neighborhood that I assume, might be friends now and see each other down in the clubhouse. And it was pretty cool.
Jeff, we're like friend matchmakers.
I feel like I could be a matchmaker.
You could be one?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just don't I don't know any single people really. All my friends are all old like me and been married for 100 years.
Would you be like that movie Hitch, or would you be a different matchmaker?
Is that the one with Will Smith that was?
Yeah.
I would be like Hitch. Yeah. I would be like Hitch.
All right. Mr. Mina said, are there any North Charleston neighborhoods being re-gentrified?
Hold on a second. I got to look up a big word here. I got to find out what re-gentrified means.
I'm guessing it means like revitalized, right?
Yeah. Somewhat. There is some areas misdemeanor. So it's actually interesting you said. When Mark and I went down the other day, we were looking at some townhouses down in North Charleston, and there are some areas. Park Circle is a prime example of the Park Circle of 20 years ago is it's a vastly different animal than it is now. The homes are changing, the neighborhoods are changing, and so we have seen the feels of the neighborhood sometimes changing with a lot of the new construction.
Jackie said the axe throwing was so much fun.
Yeah, nobody bled.
Yeah, no.
We've got 2 years in a row now that nobody really got hurt in a bad way.
Yeah. I got an axe to go in backwards. That was pretty
Jackie said that new playground is amazing.
Yeah.
Over at Park Circle.
It is. It's really impressive. I kind of wish I still had kids that were at that age, because I would definitely be taking them down to that new playground. There's a playground up in Myrtle Beach that's like that called Savannah's Playground, which is phenomenal. And it's really cool, but it's like that one down at Park Circle. It's pretty impressive. If I had shorties, I would still be wanting to go there.
Yeah. Robin said everyone left with all their toes. Yes. That's because Robin didn't throw any axes. That's why.
Which is better than when I do Taekwondo on Friday nights. So.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm so tired of you calling me on Monday morning saying I'm on my way in, but I'm moving slow. I got beat up by a girl again. Yeah. And not just a girl, because there's some bad girls out there, but a 12-year-old girl, you big baby.
Hey, you want to go up against her? You're more than welcome to. She's a beast.
No, don't bring a 12-year-old girl to a gunfight.
Hey, our girls are fierce. That's what we make them fierce so that they don't have to have a problem later.
Robin says we love Cresswind. Jeff,
Good.
you like Cresswind too, right?
I do. Yeah.
We don't talk about it as much as like Four Seasons and Del Webb, just because they have so many additional options and they've got the biggest and greatest amenity centers. But Cresswind is a great neighborhood. They only have about 20 lots left, I'm guessing, right now.
Yeah, they're winding down, but I'll tell you what I like about Cresswind is I like their homes. Their amenity center is lovely. It's not on scale with what Horizons is going to be or what Del Webb in Nexton or Four Seasons has. It's a little bit smaller, no indoor pool. But their homes are really interesting. Some of them have a little bit more of a compartmentalized feel. Some of them have a more wide open feel, but they've got different options that a lot of the other builders, everything is big, wide open spaces, right? Not everybody loves that. Some people still want a little bit more compartmentalized, and they've got some options over there at Cresswind.
Yeah. Jackie wants you to take her kids.
I'm trying to get mine kicked out of the house so I can move into a 55 plus. I don't want your kids too. Let's all send them over to Clem's house.
Yeah, there you go. He's got plenty of room.
Y'all are welcome to come over and swim, though.
You know what Mark did, John?
What do you do now?
So when my one daughter and his daughter started becoming friends and hanging out together, Abigail would come over to my house. And Riley would go over to their house, and Riley's allergic to cats. And so Mark, in his genius way, thought, I know what I'll do. I'll get a cat. And then Riley can't come over to my house. And so Riley and Abby are going to have to do sleepovers at Jeff's house, and I can be at home for the night with Sharon by myself and sit around the pool and have an adult beverage. And he'll lie to you. And he'll say that was not his plan, but it absolutely was. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Wow. It was not my plan.
You're lying.
But if, I happen to get more date nights than you, that's not my fault. I mean,
from a little kitty cat.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That was a good idea, actually.
All right, we're calling for last call on questions. We're already over an hour. That was quick.
That's what she said.
That went.
Come on, man.
Sorry.
We are seeing. No, it's still not raining.
No.
Yeah, I think it's going to pick back up tomorrow when that thing circles around a little bit more. I think we're kind of in the eye of it right now, and I think it's going to. We were all excited. Mark and I had a plan. We were going to set up cameras on our back porches and show all the blinding rain live on the channel night, and it just didn't turn into that.
Wait, I want to show you this. Look at all the people at Kiowa Beach right now. How do I do this? There it is.
That's right now.
That's right now. All those people at Kiowa Beach. 8:03 p.m. See them all out there?
Yeah.
There's got to be 60 people on the beach.
Wow.
That's crazy. All right. Any other questions, Mr.
Yeah, do us a favor. Do us a favor and like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're watching this on YouTube tonight, it really does help us out to get the word out, and it helps us.
Yeah. Thanks for all your knowledge. Stay safe. Lisa said thanks again. See you soon. Yes, we will. And then Pete, one last question. Did you see power issues with the weather events like this?
Yeah, so there are some power outages in the area, down in Charleston County and up into Berkeley and Dorchester also. We don't typically see outages in most of the larger neighborhoods where we sell the most homes because they're all newer systems. Everything's underground. When I first moved here into Carnes, I was considering putting a Generac in because I just didn't want to ever be stuck for days without power. And my neighbor said, hey, you might want to reconsider that and talk to some people that have been in this neighborhood since it started because we just don't lose power here. And I've found that to be the case. And I saved myself the $20,000 to put in the Generac.
Yeah. So I know here in Cane Bay, I heard that Del Webb, Cane Bay lost power for less than an hour, I believe. Jackie over in Old Rice said she had a power blip earlier today. Yeah. So I think that was a little bit. In the Oaks, I did not lose power at all. John, did you lose power?
We did not. And I think and I'm out in Lincolnville, the cultural hub of the South. And it's semi-rural. And I think in the 3 years I've been here, we might have had one day where we lost power for a couple of hours.
Yeah,
a bad storm.
I did charge up. I bought one of them batteries, them big batteries, John, that you can start your car with, but you could also use it as a battery backup. I did pull that out of my car and charge it up here a couple of days ago. Whenever this was all starting, but yeah, we haven't had any problems.
Yeah.
Matt Benton said, "Good stuff, gentlemen." AJ said,
"Matt Benton, that's one of my realtor gurus up around Columbia."
Oh, for real? Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that one. You guys are the best. Thank you. She said it was out for maybe 30 minutes. Dwayne, my daughter lost power for around 30 minutes in Cane Bay. So I think she's in the back of Cane Bay by Pine Hills, somewhere around there. And then love your lives and thanks. Have a great night.
Thanks, Pete.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. So we're going to throw up a QR code. You can use that to book, the Zoom with us, or down in the description, you can click on that. Until next Tuesday, though, hopefully we were supposed to have our home inspector, Bob, on today, but he lives out in the boonies, and he lost internet. Yeah. So he wasn't able to jump on with us, but we'll have him
back next week, and hopefully he'll be on next week. We'll get him back soon, but when he's on, I got a lot of stuff to talk to him about. A lot of people ask us, hey, if this is a brand new house, if this is a newer house, why should we have a home inspection? You're going to hear and you're going to think that you want one. It's a great $500 invested into your house.
Yeah, and he was also going to give us some tips about preparing your house for a storm like this. So we'll try to pull all of that great knowledge out of him. But until next week, we'll see you later. Any final words, John?
No, we're good.
Have a Jeff, you good?
No, I got yelled at last week for my final thought. I'm just gonna say thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
I already had my button on the video, so in case
you're ready to mute out
again, you were done.
See y'all.
Bye.